Previous part ended when Roel spotted a concentrated mana core within the flaming dragon's mouth and targeted it with newly forged telekinetic blades. The strike triggered a massive mid-air explosion, engulfing the battlefield in fire and smoke. When the haze cleared, Roel stood unharmed, his strength undeniable. In awe, Janak conceded defeat, declaring the duel Roel's victory. Let's kick off today's recap, but before we dive in, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The statue of Janak spoke, its deep voice echoing through the hall. Thanks to having met such an outstanding junior, I can leave in peace. A sudden chime sounded in Raoul's ears, and a system window appeared before him. Forced quest, Janak's test, completed, rewards, mansion warehouse key, type B, 50,000 player coins, large amount of EXP, title obtained. The one who received Janak's acknowledgements. Before Raoul could fully process the notification, a brilliant golden light began to radiate from the statue's chest. Slowly, a shimmering golden core emerged, floating in the air. I look forward to the day your psychokinesis reaches the level of a master. The statue continued. May the experience you've gained from today's battle guide you along your path. Raoul's brows furrowed. What's this? Wasn't the reward for the hidden quest already fixed? The moment the golden core drifted away, Janak's statue fell silent and still, returning to lifeless stone. Across the hall, the statue of Jeremiah stopped mid-swing against Ken. Time's up. I concede, this match is over. Ken, panting heavily and drenched in sweat, could barely keep his stance. Jeremiah's statue inclined its head in respect. You've endured far longer than I anticipated. I respect your perseverance. Ken of Marquis Greer, you pass. From the sidelines, Josh let out an enthusiastic cheer for both Raoul and Ken. Yet another system notification popped up before Raoul's eyes. Forced quest, Janak's test, completed, rewards, mansion warehouse key, type B, 50,000 player coins, large amount of EXP. Raoul smirked to himself. Good, just as planned. That means Ken has cleared his trial too. Once they stepped inside the mansion of Greer, Josh couldn't help but marvel. It's on par with the mansions in the capital. Raoul waved a hand dismissively. You've both worked hard. Take a short break. I'll contact you through guild communications when I need you. Until then, rest in your rooms. Yes, master. Thank you for your hard work. Josh and Ken replied before heading off. As their footsteps faded, Raoul placed his hand on a table and opened his system interface. All right, time to sort through the rewards. A window displayed the details. Title: The one who received Janak's acknowledgements. Grade S. Effect: increases combat power, psychic skill strength, and skill proficiency by 20%. Raoul tilted his head thoughtfully. Not bad, though a swordsmanship buff would have been nice. Well, I can always get that somewhere else. From his inventory, he pulled out the golden core. Item: Janak's spiritual core, grade S. Effect: enhances certain psychic abilities of the consumer. A special core left behind by Janak for future generations. Grants unique powers based on the consumer's choice. Raoul froze for a moment, stunned. An S-grade core? In my previous life, the first dungeon clearer only got grade B, and everyone after that received grade C. Without hesitation, he swallowed the core whole. Golden light flared across his body. You have consumed the S-grade spiritual core, Janak's spiritual core. The core's effects are spreading throughout your body. Choose 2 growth effects suited to your aptitude. 3 new system windows materialize before him. Psychokinesis, power growth, increases the total movable weight by 10 times. Psychokinesis, control growth, increases the number of manipulable objects by 10 times and improves fine control. Psychokinesis, range growth, doubles both detection and spirit projection range. Raoul's eyes widened. I have to choose between these? That's insane. Taking a deep breath, he analyzed each. Power boosts the weight I can move and the speed of heavy objects. Control lets me handle more objects simultaneously and with precision. Range expands my area of influence and detection. After a moment of consideration, he made his decision. You have selected range growth and control growth. Golden light surged through his body, his eyes now glowing with radiant gold. Every object in the room rose into the air under his will, spinning and floating in perfect harmony. So this is how it feels. This sensation is completely different from when I reached Meister level in my past life. Honestly, I could crush the past life me in a psychic duel right now, and not just maybe, but definitely. With a thought, everything returned neatly to its place. Just then, he sensed a faint but unusual aura. Come to think of it, Just as I got a hidden reward, Ken must have gotten one from Jeremiah. That ring and spear, looks like he awakened his abilities. Good for him. A smile touched his lips, until Josh burst into the room, face pale and breathless. Master! There's a big problem. Raoul turned sharply. What happened? Josh swallowed hard. I was walking around the back of the mansion during break, and I found something. A place that looks like a graveyard. A little later, Raoul, Ken, and Josh hurried toward the rear grounds of the mansion. The air was heavy, and an unsettling silence blanketed the area. As they rounded the last corner, the sight before them made them all tense. Hundreds of human skeletons lay scattered across the ground, bleached and brittle with age. Raoul's gaze swept over the grim remains. He turned to Ken, his voice low and grim. It's even more horrific than I expected. There's something in particular you're looking for, isn't there? Ken nodded solemnly. Yes, master. Without another word, Raoul stepped forward, extending his right hand toward the field of bones. His thoughts focused inward. Let's use the spiritual cores effect. An invisible wave pulsed outward, scanning the skeletal remains one by one. His senses sifted through the dead until something caught his attention. There, nestled on the finger of a golden-armored knight's skeleton, was a distinctive ring. Raoul recognized it instantly. The crest belonged to the house of Marquis Greer. Raoul stepped toward the armored corpse. The faint glint of gold contrasted with the weathered bones. Behind him, Ken's eyes widened as he fell to his knees, despair written across his face. Moments later, Josh approached, holding a bundle of weathered papers. Master, we found this right beside the corpse. Raoul took the documents and began to read. The ink was faded, but the writing was still legible. September 7th, I heard from Fabian about Jane's dungeon. We've never gotten along, not since I took the top spot in the entrance exam. It's suspicious he'd offer me this kind of information. September 10th, Fabian of House McNeil says he wants to make amends. He proposed we tackle the dungeon ourselves. No adults, no interference. September 12th, after some thought, I agreed. Waiting for my family's support would take too long. I've decided to reclaim our family's secret art on my own. September 15th, we entered the dungeon with my escort knights and private soldiers. Progress was smooth. Fabian was cooperative. September 19th, something is wrong. The dungeon teems with spiritual entities. Physical attacks are useless. September 21st, I've been betrayed. Fabian and his party vanished during the night. Even the hired guide and priest are gone. It must have been prearranged. We later found the guide and priest's bodies. Fabian must have done it. The entrance has disappeared. Only one knight remains with me. I must make it back to Kaylee. Damn this cursed dungeon. Raoul lowered the paper. The rest is illegible. It seems his mind had already begun to break. Ken rose slowly, trembling with rage. His eyes burned a deep, furious red. Raoul's thoughts sharpened. Fabian of House McNeil. I've heard of him. The late-born son of Marquis Clifford de McNeil, the axe master himself, born when the Marquis was already past 40. Not gifted, yet spoiled beyond reason. The Marquis even created a knight order for him. Wait, why does this sound so much like my own story? Turning to Ken, Raoul spoke with measured sympathy. I'm sorry for the tragedy here. As for Fabian of House McNeil, Ken cut him off, his voice steady despite his fury. I have already pledged my loyalty to you, master. I will not tarnish your name over personal vengeance. But if conflict with House McNeil ever comes, please allow me to stand at the front. Raoul paused for a moment, then nodded. I swear it. You will have your chance to take rightful revenge, but you must do it with your own strength. Ken bowed his head. Thank you, master. I will never bring dishonor to your name. Raoul's eyes narrowed slightly. Eliminating Fabian won't be difficult, but there's no need to rush. Sooner or later, House McNeil and I will clash. They're not the only ones who can scheme. When the time comes, I'll repay them in full. In the weeks that followed, the dungeon expedition concluded. Jane's dungeon was relocated entirely to Calyp's territory, possible only because Raoul had received an extraordinary reward, Jane's Dungeon Core, Grade EX. Effect, grants administrative control over the ancient dungeon. Jane's dungeon. Function, create or seal entrances at any location. Warning, destruction of the core will annihilate the dungeon entirely. The existence of ancient dungeon cores was among the most closely guarded secrets in the world. Even Raoul, once the operator of an intelligence cafe, had never heard of them. Using the core, Raoul salvaged every remaining treasure from the dungeon and reconfigured it into a personal training ground, complete with the guidance of 2 ancient masters. Even Bernard, the Wind Mage, used it to elevate his psychic abilities to a higher level. Now, Raoul's focus shifted to strengthening the knights and readying his forces for the inevitable conflicts ahead. 1 month later, Mira First Guild Academy, Dalton greeted him warmly. "Long time no see, Raoul." "It's been a while," Raoul replied with a faint smile. "How are the trainees?" "You mean the foreigners? Their growth rate is astounding. Now I see why you're so interested in them." Dalton, both headmaster of the academy and the swordsmanship instructor, oversaw their training personally. "And the guild recruitment?" Raoul asked. "I've been focusing on the talented ones, but fewer people are interested than I expected." "That's fine," Raoul said. "Just make sure you secure the ones I named." "Of course," Dalton replied. "I won't take my future subordinates lightly." Raoul thought back to a special item he had obtained long ago, a rare consumable from a main scenario quest that allowed the creation of a second guild, bypassing the rule that each person could only join one. With it, he would form the Purple Guild, a secret player-only organization rivaling the First Guild in power. "I'm counting on you," Raoul told Dalton. "I'll give you most of the Purple Guild's authority." Dalton smirked. "Leave it to me. Those old lords won't even imagine we're building something like this in secret." With that, Dalton departed. Alone now, Raoul's form shimmered, shifting into the appearance of Bei Dohyen. Then, time to update today's record. Sometime later, a student from the First Guild Academy burst into one of the classrooms, his face flushed with excitement. "Hey! Big news! Bei Dohyen just showed up at training arena number 1, he shouted. The room stirred instantly. "Really?" one student exclaimed. "How high is he planning to push his score this time?" Another jumped from his seat. "Let's go! If we're lucky, we might even get a party play with him." It had already been 2 months since the Academy's first batch of students enrolled. 600 of them were being rigorously trained under the Academy's specialized methods, and their skills were improving at an extraordinary pace. Among the many programs offered, one stood out as the Academy's pride: virtual battles via the Illusion Magic Circle. This system could create complex, lifelike battle environments filled with monsters, designed to evaluate a student's ability in real combat scenarios. Every week, the students' performances in these simulations were compiled into a ranking list. The final graduation exams would also use the same system, making it a vital part of their training. But since the program's launch, one thing had remained constant: the number 1 spot had never changed. The undisputed top ranker was Bei Dohyen, a name synonymous with dominance. His position in the academy wasn't just first place, it was untouchable. Training arena number 1 was alive with the sound of combat. Inside, Bei Dohyen was cutting through monsters with effortless precision, each strike clean and decisive. Outside, students huddled around the ranking display. "Whoa," one student said, wide-eyed. "That monster just broke another record. I thought we were finally catching up this time." Another muttered in frustration. A third asked, "He barely even shows up to classes. How does he keep getting scores like that? Even the instructors have acknowledged him." A fourth replied, "Rumor says he's busy running missions for the First Guild." Moments later, Bei Dohyen stepped out of the training room. At once, rank students like Blake hurried over. "You're sparring today, right?" Blake asked eagerly. "How about with me?" Before Bei Dohyen could answer, another student cut in. "Don't be ridiculous," someone behind Blake scoffed. "I booked him last week." That person was promptly shoved aside by Wang Tianming, who declared, "Move aside, everyone. Today, I'm going to avenge my last defeat." Bei Dohyen let out a tired sigh. "Don't you guys ever get tired of this?" he asked. Wang Tianming smirked. "Not until I beat you. We can't graduate with a loss hanging over our heads. I'll keep challenging you until I win." Blake grabbed Tianming's shoulder from behind. "At least wait your turn," he said sharply. "You can't just charge in every time because you're impatient." The two immediately started bickering over who deserved the first sparring match. Watching them, Bei Dohyen thought to himself, "Still, I have to respect their persistence. At least now that most of the troublemakers are gone, we can talk like normal people." Finally, he cut in. "Fine. How about a 2-on-1 today?" The arguing stopped instantly. Blake and Tianming turned toward him in surprise. Not long after, both were lying on the arena floor, utterly defeated. "Damn it!" Tianming groaned, pushing himself to his feet. We couldn't even land a single hit together. What a monster! Blake staggered up beside him. No matter how you look at it, Do-hyun's an irregular. I can't believe he's even the same kind of player as us. Tianming clenched his teeth. You're just not skilled enough. One day, I will take him down. Blake glanced sideways. What about you? Tianming frowned. What about what? The Purple Guild, Blake said. It's been trending among rankers lately. Even the instructors are promoting it hard. Not interested, Tianming replied flatly. I don't plan on joining any organization. I already turned down every guild offer back in my home country. I'm thinking of joining, Blake admitted. The conditions sound really good. Tianming raised an eyebrow. What kind of conditions? I want the best treatment in the best guild, Blake said matter-of-factly. Even if I started my own, I doubt I could surpass the one Bei Do-hyun's in. Think about it, once the academy ends, it won't be easy to meet him again. If you want to beat him someday, wouldn't it be smarter to join the same guild and bide your time? Tianming fell silent, imagining the day he could finally defeat Bei Do-hyun. You still have that guild information brochure? He asked. Didn't you get one already? Blake replied. I threw it away the day I lost to him. I was pissed, Tianming admitted. Then get another from the instructor. Seriously, you need to control that temper, Blake said. Flustered, Tianming shot back. Mind your own business. The scene shifted to the first guild's mirror branch, where a golden brown-haired guild member approached Raoul with news. The business targeting outsiders is finally turning a profit, the man reported. Raoul smiled faintly. Is that so? That's good to hear. We expect a steady flow of newcomers in the future, the man continued. So we're planning to expand our shops in case we get more visitors than expected. The guild has secured both the manpower and the funding, Raoul assured him. If you need anything, we'll gladly cooperate. We're truly grateful for your personal assistance, Baron Raoul, the man said sincerely. Suddenly, a system window appeared before Raoul, an incoming guild audio message. He opened it. The voice of Bernard came through urgently. Master, we have a problem. We just received word from our informant in Cauford Castle. Count Melvin has collapsed. Raoul's expression hardened. Damn it. Is the scenario starting exactly as I predicted? He immediately activated emergency transmission to all guild members. All forces, maintain maximum alert, he ordered. From this moment, consider this a wartime situation and prepare accordingly. Yes, master, came the unified reply. Raoul strode quickly down the corridor, flanked by knights, continuing his orders through the link. All knights of the Mirror Branch, head to Calip's castle. Also, there will be officer meetings tonight. Stand by until then. That's all. He cut the transmission and pushed open the door to a room, where Nakia, Dalton, and Kane stood near an active portal. What's the current situation? Raoul asked. Kane reported. The Count hasn't regained consciousness yet, but healers and priests have begun treatment. Then follow me to the main estate, Kane, Raoul ordered. Dalton, join Bernard at Calip's castle with Nakia. Yes, master, they replied. Raoul then turned to Nakia and used a secret transmission directly to her mind, issuing a confidential order. Finally, he addressed Kane. First, we hurry to the main estate. Inside, his thoughts burned with determination. When I opened my eyes as Raoul Ashton, I made a vow to accept this life and face whatever comes. The tragedy looming over the Count's family, I will stop it, no matter what. The scene shifted to Cauford Castle, ancestral seat of House Ashton. Raoul strode through the main gates, his voice echoing with urgency. I came as soon as I heard Ivan. The butler, Ivan, was visibly trembling as he bowed low. Lord Raoul. I failed to properly serve the Count. I have no excuse. Raoul shook his head. Don't blame yourself too much, Ivan. What matters now is father. Let's see him first. He signaled to Philip, one of the household retainers. Philip stepped forward at once. This way, my lord, he said, taking the lead toward the Count's chambers. As they approached, Raoul noted the armored knights standing guard before the door. He recognized immediately the family crest emblazoned across their breastplates. Without a word, he entered. Inside, Count Ashton lay unconscious upon his bed. The room smelled faintly of incense. A healer and a priest stood nearby, tending to him. Beside the bed, Lady Estella, wife of Raoul's elder brother Dylan, was weeping uncontrollably. Her reddened eyes turned to Raoul as he entered. Young master, what do we do about this? She asked through her tears. Raoul did not answer right away. He took a seat beside his father, staring at the still form with tightly clenched fists. Then, jaw taut, he addressed the healer and priest. What exactly happened? Why is father in this condition? The priest hesitated, then replied, We do not know the precise cause yet, but judging from the symptoms, it appears to be mana backlash. Raoul's eyes widened. Mana backlash, he thought grimly. In his mind, he recalled the basics. Every knight who uses mana possesses a network within the body known as a mana road, a fixed pathway through which mana flows, much like blood in veins. When, for any reason, that mana reverses its flow, the phenomenon is called mana backlash. In most cases, it is fatal. For those who survive, permanent disability is almost certain. The priest continued, Though this case is slightly unusual, mana backlash is the only condition that explains his symptoms. Raoul pressed further. Is there a treatment? We have to stabilize him somehow. The priest's expression turned regretful. In this case, divine power is ineffective. We can only offer blessings in his presence. Raoul gave a curt nod. Then please, do everything you can. Later, when the others had stepped back, Raoul remained seated beside the bed. From the armor he wore, a faint shimmer emerged. The spirit Karl, sealed within it, materialized. Karl's voice was low and grim. The Count's will is formidable. He must be enduring immense pain. Raoul turned sharply to him. Master, is there no way to save him? Karl considered, then said, Let me borrow his senses for a moment. Raoul placed his right hand over his father's head. Karl studied for a moment before speaking again. This is strange. It does not match any case of mana backlash I've encountered before. Raoul leaned in. So there is a chance to treat it? Karl's tone grew cautious. It's complicated. His condition is highly unusual. By this mana level, he should already be an intermediate master, yet he hasn't broken through. The Count's own mana is clashing against the reversing mana, pushing back as if in a stalemate. But he can't hold on forever. There are two possible approaches. First, identify the root cause of the backlash. There is an unnatural mana flow mixed in. If we block it, his natural flow should recover. Second, forcefully block the reverse mana flow. But this method requires a master-level manipulator to control the mana with extreme precision. It's incredibly risky, and even then, stabilization is not guaranteed. If either method succeeds, the worst-case outcome is unavoidable. Some time later, Raoul walked through the castle corridor with Ivan, deep in thought. Why hasn't my eldest brother arrived yet? Raoul asked. Ivan replied. A few days ago, 2 teams went missing in a strange dungeon. The eldest young lord went personally to investigate. Raoul frowned. No wonder he didn't respond to the guild's messages. Has he sent word about returning? Raoul pressed. Of all places, Ivan answered. The dungeon is located at the farthest edge of the Count's territory. Raoul's expression sharpened. What about the Knight Commander? And Commander Ernest Bozel, the Viscount? The Knight Commander went into the dungeon with young Master Dylan. Viscount Bozel has been away for over a week conducting mobile training. Raoul stopped in his tracks. Then who's overseeing the house and the castle's defenses right now? The main estate is under Baron Carlo de Ashton, commander of the Silver Bear Knights. The castle is guarded by Baron Dwayne de Ashton, head of the security forces. Raoul muttered to himself, so that explains why it's the Silver Bears on escort duty. He knew the county maintained 4 knight orders. Golden Bear Knights, elite warriors serving directly under the head of House Ashton. Silver Bear Knights, primarily composed of Ashton family members. Iron Bear Knights, skilled fighters of common or foreign birth. Chain Knights, a not yet formalized order still in training. While prestigious by name, the Silver Bears were generally considered weaker in combat than the Iron Bears. Raoul made his decision. Send a messenger. Summon the Golden Bear Knights immediately. Fill any gaps in their ranks with members from the Chain Knights. And tell Baron Dwayne to lock down Comfort Castle. No one gets in or out until further notice. Understood, young lord, Ivan replied. As they moved, Raoul's mind was racing. The timing is too perfect. Everyone else thinks father's collapse is an accident, but I don't. My brother and most of our forces are conveniently away, leaving the estate vulnerable. Without my informant in the main house, I'd have arrived too late, and if father had died, the county would have plunged into chaos. We narrowly avoided disaster. I need to act now. Opening a private guild channel, Raoul issued rapid orders. Jake, I'll open a private portal. Bring the knights and our guild members to Comfort Castle. Dalton, join us at the mansion with Nakia and Ken. They answered with unwavering obedience. Yes, master. Raoul's mind was already in motion. The enemy, he knew, still had no idea of the true power he and the First Guild possessed. This ignorance would be his advantage. He would use it to position his forces and quietly root out any signs of treachery. Just then, Kane's voice crackled through an audio message from the castle wall. Master, we have a situation. 6 barren families bordering 4 of our lands are moving troops toward the borders. It's a significant force, including knight orders. A slow, knowing smile formed on Raoul's face. Inwardly, his resolve hardened. So, they want to go there, he thought. I'll show those rotten traitors exactly what happens to backstabbers.
We got plenty more where that came from. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for even more amazing content.